Welcome to Chapter 13 of our story of Wraith the Oblivion, Tempests of New Orleans. Chapter title is Preparation. Before we get going on this, as we always do, we're going to ask our players to give us a synopsis of what happened last week.
Creepy clown.
Do what?
Yes.
Creepy clown? Yes. Monica, both in and out of game, loved the clown dearly. And if you listen to our last episode, you can tell I'm just being a little sarcastic about that, ever so slightly. But yes, and what was the deal with said clown, Pagliaccio?
He's a Cappadocian, or was a Cappadocian.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's the Harbinger of
Yes.
Skulls.
Yes.
Apparently, he was a coterie mate of El Messina's at some point.
At some point.
That's what he said. And then he took one for the team.
Yep.
So to speak.
Yep.
I couldn't really tell on re-listen if he sounded bitter about that or if he was just kind of like, yeah,
it was almost matter of fact.
Yeah.
Almost like he knew it was an inevitability, but that something was sacrificed in order that she would gain. So.
Oh. That's not good.
Like his own life or something.
Yeah.
In exchange for her getting away. Like that much of a boon. From what was mentioned.
Oh, that's right, because she said, yeah, because she owes him.
Right.
Yes. So, I mean, they did work it out, I guess. It's not like she just threw him to the wolves or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Correct. And
That's
it seems
right,
like
that's
he
right.
talked after his death, too, with her.
Yes, that's true. And then, but his fetters were destroyed. He said that she couldn't have prevented that.
Right.
But it did open up some questions because he knew all about Vicenta. He knew Dante, and apparently sounded like there was some kind of something going on. And he told her, Vicenta, that she had been preserved because she could move around. Now, what the fuck that actually means, I'm not entirely sure.
It seems like the story, I will just kind of give you a bigger picture thing that, because I don't always piece things together well for you guys, and things that
Well,
I think
I'm not that
things,
bright,
well,
so.
And things that I think your character would have picked up by now. I'm happy to give you. Really, what it seems like he was saying is, it's something that even Ella Messina and others that you've talked to, like Dante, have mentioned, that she had to stay mobile, she had to stay hidden, and it was a case of other people thinking they have your best interest in mind, whether or not you agree with that. And that's what the commonality of the story that you're getting, even from multiple sources, seems to be.
Got it.
So
like it's just easier to move a box type thing.
Right. Then it's almost like you're all that she had left.
Got you.
And she was doing whatever she could to make sure that when things were right, she could bring you back. And it seems like this New World trip was maybe the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
But it was sabotaged.
Got it. Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
So, you got to remember, Vicenta's got 4 dots in intelligence. I'm operating on about 1.5 dots. So,
well, so.
You just got, sometimes you know how that goes.
Yeah.
And then Cassandra got a ghost feast.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's delicious, little wiggly.
And you met Professor Oglethorpe, who is one of my faves now.
Remember how much you hated him at first?
I do, but I love him so much. Like I still hate Maldo, but I love Oglethorpe.
Well, The hate from Aldo's never going away.
I don't think so. But yeah, Oglethorpe's badass, and he bought everybody food, and he pointed out that 2 of those rednecks are specters. They're doppelgangers.
Yep.
What's his face? The private Harris.
Harris, yes.
He took Pearl back to the library, and he's gonna stay with her.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cassandra had a vision about the rednecks jumping us in an alley.
Yes.
And so when Vicenta was like, I gotta go get some fangs and some claws, and Royce is like, what the fuck? We got shit to do. Cassandra was like, well, we'll split off because the rednecks are going to come after us. And so you and Oglethorpe go do your shit and then just meet us back at the Emerald Keep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But how did we close our session?
With a little tricksy switcheroo.
Yeah.
Well, Oglethorpe said, oh, it seems that she wasn't accurate on her times.
Yeah.
Fuck you, man. I tried.
Yeah, you did your best.
But,
and Anna has a crush on Royce, and Royce is gay.
Yes.
So it's just like...
That was very dramatic.
It's very dramatic.
Yep.
And it's awkward, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not there and I don't know about it.
Explains a little bit of some of the tensions and things.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you kind of didn't pick that up with all the preacher stuff, but...
Mm-hmm. Well, we didn't know about Anna at all.
I didn't know about Anna. I didn't catch up on Anna at all. That totally blindsided me.
Me too.
You're welcome. So, we go back to what the professor said as we open this story. Standing in front of you in the alleyway that leads from Patch's shop into the streets of Stygia are 3 men. Familiar looking. At least from a train ride that you made earlier today. And 2 of them stand on either side of the alley, kind of propped against the wall, leaning very casual, trying to look relaxed. And one stands in the middle. And it's like they're waiting for you to walk the 50 or so feet towards them.
Elf? Vicenta, how do you want to play this to Oglethorpe?
Oh dear. What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, the only way out is through them.
You think so?
Do you have
you think
another
they could
answer?
be reasoned with?
I don't know. You're the one who studies specters.
Fair point. These 3 aren't the ones that I was worried about, though.
Oh. Well, suppose we could try to reason with them. If it does go south, do you have anything to help protect yourself?
A few things, yes. I don't want to do that if I...
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, I can loan you my brother if you need to, but I do want him back.
What?
She kind of materializes her side.
At that, the 2 men stand up off the wall. And they're like, now. Why would you want to do a dumb thing like that? We just wanted to say hi. Got off to the wrong start on the train. maybe a wrong start in the city of New Orleans or the necropolis of New Orleans.
Oh, I guarantee you that's what happened.
Well, maybe this is all just a misunderstanding, huh?
You tell me.
Well, way I see it, you folks come on back and admit that you're just murderers and that the Anacreon of our Legion was not a doppelganger murdering psycho like you claim, then I don't see any problems.
Oh, so you want me to go perjure myself?
No, we want you to tell the truth.
But the truth is that your Anacreon was a doppelganger. His shadow took over. Was completely in control.
All they got is you saying that and a Legion that's not known to get along with our Legion saying that. How in the world is anybody supposed to believe that's true?
Well, it does seem like we're going to retrieve another witness, so why don't you just wait until then? I do believe this other... Wait, hang on. Does she know that Preacher was the other... was part of their Legion? She doesn't know that, does she?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay, so she's not going to say that. She goes, it does seem like we are retrieving another witness. Why don't we just wait to hear what they say?
Nah. I think y'all are going to go down there or pretend to go down there. That's maybe why you're here. Maybe y'all were going to change your faces to look like your witness. And you could say whatever you wanted to say.
Does it look like I changed my face?
He takes a couple steps forward. He goes, what the fuck? And he looks at your hands and, he's probably about 20 feet away now. They can't make out your teeth in this light. But it's like, no, it looks like you. What the hell are you doing?
She just goes... And she just grins real big. She was preparing to go down to the labyrinth.
Yeah, right. Well, you go ahead and prepare to do what you gotta do. You taking the vainest stare down there, think you're gonna be tough? Take on the whole labyrinth yourself?
Oh no, I have people with me.
Oh. It's good not to be alone, I suppose. Oglethorpe's been really quiet this whole time.
Oh shit.
And he kind of steps forward and he goes, now, gentlemen, I'm sorry. Cletus, is it? And he's kind of shocked that he knows his name.
I'm kind of shocked he knows his name, but I'm trying to hide it.
I think that we shouldn't get into conflicts with one another. We're all trying to do the right thing here, I believe. And if your compatriots knew about Mrs. Jefferson, why, what would they think of you? And he kind of goes, if a ghost could go pale white.
Ah!
He's like, the fuck you say? What are you talking about? Shall I elaborate for your friends? I think you know exactly what I'm talking about, sir. And he goes, you shut your lying fat ass mouth up. You better watch yourselves. Stay careful out there. Stygia is a rough place. People go missing from here all the time. And he turns on his heel and he goes, come on, we're out of here. And they're like, what was that about? He's like, I said, don't worry about it. And because your ears hear a little better than they did in your living time, you hear him say, we'll get them later. Time's right. But now we know what they're up to. Know a little bit more about what they're planning. Come on. Let's see what Kyle and Glenn found out. They're off.
Cynthia's just kind of got a sly grin, and she looks at the professor and she goes, "Can you do that with everyone?"
Yes, but I don't want to. If I don't have to, I shouldn't have to pry into people's personal matters. But that man has a lot of hate in his heart. But unfortunately, I knew that. It's disgusting, but the fact that who his sexual proclivities were for would turn his own fellows against him more than any of the vile deeds he's done in his life.
It's just like nods, like okay, like. And then she kind of stops and she's kind of like thinking, oh God, what is this dude probed about me and my shadow?
Well, he did admit that he doesn't like to do that.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, the fact is that he did come up at one point and be like, oh, your name's necessary. So at some point, there's a possibility that has happened.
You can leave that in your mind, but.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't accuse him or anything. She's
Sure.
just kind of like, oh, maybe I need to like not kick this hornet nest type thing, you know.
Well, shall we get back or try to get back? I know it's going to be a long journey.
She kind of looks at the card and then she's like, yeah, because she can go visit Clown Dude when they come back, right?
Yeah, he said come later and see.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So she just nods yes. And then she puts Quintus. Well, actually, she's going to listen to the blade and see if she hears anything with Quintus.
Nothing.
Okay. Then she puts Quintus up. And she goes, yes, let's go.
Okay. And you're off. The journey takes a long time. But soon in what would be early morning, you find yourselves in front of this Emerald Tower. As was described last week, with this light that emanates from it, pointing directly at a gaping maw in the ground right at the edge of the Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way to the door, and it's closed. Oglethorpe looks at you like, what do we...
Vicenta just goes and kind of pounds on the door.
And it cracks open.
She goes, Professor Oglethorpe and myself are here to report. For training to go down into the labyrinth, our compatriots should have arrived yesterday.
That's exactly what you hear.
She's like, okay then. If you would be so kind as to open the door
It's already cracked open a little bit.
wider so we can come through, please.
That's what you hear.
Okay, she's just gonna push the door open and see if she can, or see if she can push it open.
Yeah,
Like,
you can.
okay, and she'll just go inside. She probably wouldn't. I was gonna say that she'd take a look, but she probably wouldn't. She would probably just open the door and be like, "What?"
Yeah. It's a, rather elaborate building. You can tell it's very large, spacious. The emerald color is consistent throughout, even inside. Everything seems kind of almost crystalline or marble,
Mm-hmm.
Very imposing, almost feeling like a Emerald City from Wizard of Oz type thing,
Gotcha.
And Oglethorpe looks around with you, and he says, "May I take your hand?"
And Vicenta holds it out and lets him take it.
Okay. He says, I feel that we should be careful in this place.
She'll nod, and she kind of starts trying to be more observant as they walk through.
Mm-hmm. So you make your way and eventually find yourself at a staircase that goes up. And at the bottom of that staircase is a dark-skinned woman whom Cassandra has met already, but the two of you have not.
Vicenta says, "Hello. We were sent here to go down into the labyrinth. Our compatriots should have arrived yesterday."
Yes, and you're late. Why did you not arrive with them? Were you not told to come here directly?
No, I was not told to come here directly. I don't think. Was she? Actually, I don't know. Before she says that, was she told to come here directly? I don't remember.
They were told you were to report there. They didn't say
Yeah, they didn't
specifics.
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what she'll tell her. She goes, "We were told to report here. They did not say specifically to come straight from the train. I needed to gather some tools if we were to go into the labyrinth."
And so you leave your fellows behind immediately upon entering the city of Stygia, a place that one of them has never been before, except for a few moments.
It was agreed upon by said compatriot. Her idea, in fact. And considering that she is one that sees, I trust her visions and judgment.
That may be a mere mistake. What are you most afraid of?
That my nature kills everything that I love.
What are you most afraid of? That I will be as lazy as people see me in my corpus.
Aww. Vicenta kind of looks at him like, "Aw," like, because she doesn't think he's lazy. She doesn't see him as lazy. She sees him as helpful.
Right. But, the stigma of, why is this fat ghost walking around?
Yeah, oh, I hate that for him.
She goes, "That's better than your friend did." She'll be a liability to you all. Are you sure that you can trust her in your group?
And Vicenta gets kind of pissy. You know that pissed off look that she gets? Well, maybe you don't. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
She takes offense at that. She goes, "I trust her more than you."
That's good enough, but it won't be good enough down there. I'll tell you like I told them. I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm not going to pull any punches because the labyrinth won't either. I have but 2 weeks to train you and get you ready to deal with what you have to face down there. And do you have any idea of what to expect? The professor goes, "Well, I've read numerous treaties and experiences from Doomslayers that have gone down, and I have to say that if it's anything half of what they describe, it's they held so much back in anything that's been transcribed. You have no clue. And if you're going to join the Order of the Thorns, you got to not only be willing to put up with all the evil that's down there and all the hate, but you also have to put up with it enough to drag kicking and screaming a specter out of there in one piece. You think you're up for that? Either of you?
Miss Cynthia just kind of looks at her. She goes, well, I've dragged several beings kicking and screaming before.
We'll see. Your fellows are up in a room upstairs on the 3rd floor. Was it first room to the left? I can't remember. First or second. But she repeats wherever they are. I suggest you join them. We'll be starting in a few hours.
Jacinta just walks past her. She does try to kind of make note as she goes up the stairs because this woman has said she's not going to pull any punches.
Okay.
So she's trying to be wary of what she steps on and kind of look around, be aware of her surroundings.
Okay. Give me Dex plus Athletics.
Fuck.
Difficulty 7, and I will make the same roll for...
I failed. I got a 3 and a 4.
Okay. Oglethorpe is surprisingly, just because your corpus looks one way, doesn't mean you are a way. And is surprisingly agile for a man in the mortal plane, would have been his size, And jumps deftly across. Fortunately for you, he was holding your hand.
Oh, that's right.
And hadn't let go the entire time. And as you fall into this pit, this gaping maw, and you can hear whispers and giggles down below, he pulls you up barely. And is kind of panting on the other side. Not that he needs to, but there's so many things that you find in this existence that you do out of reflex, because that's what you would have done when you're alive. He goes, what was that? My goodness. Are they trying to kill us?
Probably.
Why on earth would that? Oh, my God. This is training already, isn't it?
It would appear so.
And what else can we expect? We're only on the second floor up.
I suspect I shall be in a pit at some point. She kind of laughs, but she kind of kisses him on the cheek, like,
Not if you hold my hand. I'm stronger than I look.
She goes, I believe it.
Mutual support, dear Miss Verossi.
Goes,
or do you prefer Giovanni?
And she just kind of giggles, and she goes,
Giovanni.
You may call me Vicenta.
Giovanni.
Yes, my dear Vicenta.
I love that. Giovanni.
Do it.
Do it, pussy. That's really more of Cassandra's shadow, is the do it pussy one. The fearless. Do it pussy.
You won't.
Yeah, bet.
Give me another Dex plus Athletics check. Difficulty of 7. Or 6, because you're being aware. Both of you, very much so.
I got 2 2s. I'm going to have to get some athletics.
Well, good for you. I rolled exceptional success with Professor. And before it can grab you, he literally swings you by your arm. You'll take a point of bashing damage, how much he hurts you, swinging you out of the way.
Yeah.
As the specter that's chained into the wall comes screeching forward to grab you both. He says, I'm so sorry, my dear.
It's fine. I mean,
it'll heal in about 10 minutes, or a minute. I I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
bashing is very minor. But,
Yeah.
okay. Hold on just one sec. Okay. So, Oglethorpe kind of knocks your arm out of socket, but does manage to pull you away. And you stand outside the room that she told you to go into.
I guess I'll knock and then try to open the door.
Cassandra, you hear a knock on the other side of the door.
I probably roll my eyes because I think it's Amaya, but I'll open the door.
All right, standing on the other side is Vicenta
Oh, you
and
made
Professor Oglethorpe.
Yeah, we made it. We ran into those rednecks.
it. She's probably staring at your teeth.
And the people, the things in the hall, too.
Yeah, this place is a lot of fun.
What's with the lady with the stick up her rear?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Royce kind of speaks up and goes, she's trying to get us ready for what we're going to face. She's trying to make us understand that it's going to be hard.
I mean, I think we know that.
I don't know if we know the extent of it.
Well, can you even prepare somebody for something like that then?
I think you can to a degree. But
Perhaps you're right.
But I don't know if you can go all the way.
Well, Vicenta's going to tell them what she heard the guys say about and what all they said in the alley
Okay.
about, well, maybe you're moliating your faces and to be your witness and, the names that they dropped and we'll see what they found out and, all that stuff. Because she wants them to know.
Okay. So she relays this to you. Cassandra, what do you think about that?
First, I think that's kind of a good idea. But since they were looking at him, I'm
Like, oh damn, why didn't we think of that?
yeah, I'm like, it's a great idea. But, and she's also glad that they didn't attack you.
Well, we
So
have
also
a
means
professor
she's
here to thank for that.
Thanks, Professor.
Oh, it's just people like that want to put on an air of toughness.
Hmm.
But they have to have their friends to even be half as brave as they claim they are. The truth will out, so to speak. But tell me, this is where we're staying?
Mm-hmm.
How dreadful.
Yeah. But it's better than the labyrinth will be, I assume.
Yeah. This room breathes too. Y'all notice that? The walls heave. Am I the only one? And Hannah goes, no. And they change too. That pipe or whatever that thing is was over there. She points about 3 feet away. But over the course of a few hours, it slowly moved to there.
Huh.
Oh my. And this is where we have to stay? We have to stay here? This is Oglethorpe.
I assume the alternative is just heading in there right now, but I'd like to get some training.
Yes, I suppose we should. Should be well prepared. That lady downstairs, Miss Amaya, you say? She didn't even tell us her name. She said we had a few hours before we begin.
What would you suggest, Professor?
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I suggest that we all agree that we won't take anything out on one another. I think from what I've seen, she was already trying to make us feel guilt and ashamed for taking care of what you needed to, Miss Vicenta. And,
Well, she will have to work much harder than that.
no doubt, but I'm sure she will be willing to give it a go. And so we have to have a united front and understand that we're all in this together. And Royce was like, I'll help you out through it. I'll be the point man. I'll be the leader. I'll take the brunt. I'll take the heat.
Oh my god! Vicenta's trying not to just be like, okay.
Why?
I don't know, just something about how he said it was just like, okay, man. I don't know, it just hit me funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, it seems like he's bracing himself for something he knows about. Or has maybe had experience with.
I guess that's true. Vicenta may take it a little bit more seriously when she thinks about it that way.
Yeah. Seeing as he does have a military background.
Yeah.
Well, we can come up with a game plan, and before he can get the word out of his mouth, there's a knock on the door. Let's go.
Delightful.
Alright.
She is waiting for you outside. She goes, you won't have to worry about the tests in here anymore. I'll just be honest with you there.
I don't believe her.
But know that what comes next is not any more pleasant. We have instruction, things to go over, things to discuss. If you'll follow me to the classroom, we'll go through orientation, and then we shall begin your training in earnest.
Okay.
I still hold on to the professor's hand
Okay.
because I do not trust her about the nothing's going to open up. There's
Right.
not. I don't.
Well, he
believe
squeezes
her.
your hand as you take it, you know.
Mm.
And he says, all right. Royce looks at you, Cassandra, and says, last chance to turn back, you sure?
I don't have a choice. None of us do.
We all have choices.
Not much more. I gotta get Preacher out of there. And hopefully Lincoln too.
All right. You find yourselves in a looks like the best approximation of a one-room schoolhouse. There is a whiteboard, or sorry, chalkboard. We had a whiteboard at this
Oh
time.
yeah.
A chalkboard up there, and there are desks. She says, don't expect you to take notes. We can't afford to buy paper. It's expensive, as you would well understand. But I need you to listen to everything I say. It will keep you alive. And so she starts in on a speech about what the labyrinth is, what to expect when you're there, and what your duties as a member of the Order of Thorns will be. I will kind of give you a Cliff's Notes version, just so you have this knowledge.
Okay.
She basically says that the labyrinth is a ever-shifting place of your worst nightmares. And that the specters down there, while they are not any more well-equipped in some ways than you are, they are more willing to do dastardly things down there because you are in their home. And they want to keep you there with them. And it is war. It is trench warfare down in there. And you have to constantly be on your guard. You have to constantly be watching out for one another. And you always need to make notes and mark where you are in the tunnels, because they will change. They will shift and become different.
How do we mark?
She says the best way is to spike the ground. And she says you will be provided with some spikes. But know that in some places you could very well spike into a specter that is sleeping in the ground and wake it up. Or the labyrinth itself is aware that you're driving them and it rejects them. In addition, there are pools of plasm that resemble human body fluids and will hurt you if you stay in them for too long. Some look like blood, some look like stomach acid, some look like urine or feces. All of them are not good to be in. But sometimes you will have no choice but to wade through them.
Okay.
And as the look Monica has on her face is, ew, gross, horrible. And Oglethorpe's face mirrors that. Anna doesn't look too well composed either. And Royce is just seeming like he's taking it in and coming to an understanding of what he's about to have to deal with. Vicenta, what are you thinking?
She's oddly, like, she's listening, she's paying attention, but she's very oddly detached, if that makes sense.
Got you.
Almost as if something else has turned on. And not her shadow, but it maybe is in more of the driver's seat than maybe previously.
Okay.
Like maybe a more cold nature.
Vampire mode?
Like a almost maybe like old school El Messina, if that makes sense. Like somebody who's very like
Business time.
studious.
Yeah.
Do what?
It's business time.
Yes, type. You know, she's not really having any kind of emotional reactions or anything like that.
What's Cassandra feeling?
A little queasy and nervous, but still determined. She knows, no matter what Royce says, she doesn't feel like she has a choice, so she's just gonna do it. And part of her wishes she could just get it over with, but she knows that this is gonna help, so she needs to be here.
The one place that is secure, the one and only, is the Venus Stair, which is how you will enter into the labyrinth.
Venus? Like veins?
Yes.
That sounds gross.
Well, it resembles a vein in a lot of ways. It's narrow. The steps are about 12 inches by 18 inches, and it spirals down. And the walls are secured with soulfire, and also are secured with Stygian steel to keep the staircase from closing. It has been thus far successful. If you make it back to the entrance of the stairwell, then you are typically home free.
Okay.
Typically.
If you get lost, understand that going back is sometimes going forward, and sometimes going forward is going back. There's really no good way to tell you how to get out if you have lost yourself, because of the nature of the labyrinth. It's always shifting. It may not shift on you for days. It may within minutes of getting in there. There's no way to know when or what it will do.
How long are we going to be in there?
I would suggest being in there no longer than 2 hours.
2 hours?
Maximum.
You just said days.
Days. Sorry, what are you saying?
I thought she said it could change and take days to change.
Yes, she's saying the labyrinth,
Oh.
the nature of it.
So we might not even see it change.
You might not see a change.
Okay.
It might change 8 times.
Gotcha.
Is what she's getting at. There's no way to predict what it'll decide to do.
Okay.
Understand that everything in there wants to rip you apart and have your shadow take over. Your shadow will also actively be reporting to other specters and trying to get you killed. It will be communicating to them what you are most afraid of, what you are down there to do, and it will do everything to either entice you to achieve your objective or prevent you from doing it, depending on the mood of what is inside your mind and what it is telling them to do. Are there any questions up to this point?
Is it recommended to fight any specter we see?
If you were to join one of the other orders of the Doomslayers, I would suggest yes. However, with the Order of the Thorns, we are primarily sent down to rescue.
Okay.
If you can avoid conflict at all possible with those that are not enemies, it is suggested to do so. However, understand that sometimes you will have no choice but to fight. If that is the case, understand that you will do it. However, it is strongly discouraged from completely destroying or eliminating your quarry, because if you should do so, it will be sent directly to Oblivion, never to return. Understand that when you are that close to Oblivion as well, that is where you shall be sent if you meet your end down there.
Wow. So, out of character, she's telling us that if we get damaged enough in the labyrinth, we don't get like a harrowing like normal. We
You
just
get a harrowing, but you're already there.
Oh.
Do you understand the implications of how bad that could be?
Yep.
Normally, when you come out of a harrowing, you go back to where it happened. If you're successful, if you live through the trial, or if you make it through the trial.
So you just go right back?
Yeah, you'll come back or close proximity to where you were. You're just back in the labyrinth. So it could go. What she's telling you is win or lose. If that happens, it could just pitch you into Oblivion.
Gotcha.
When you're in there, or pitch you, impossible miles away from your friends, separating you and keeping you from them.
Do you recommend splitting up ever?
Ever? No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Unless one of you turns and your shadow takes hold permanently.
Okay.
It has been seen before. Additionally, trust no one you meet down there.
Didn't she say earlier we might meet some groups or something?
Possibly. Do not believe that they are Doomslayers for one moment.
Okay.
There's no way to know. And only ones that you can trust are yourselves. Additionally, your team is all you see here. There will be no other people accompanying you. There is a reason for that. Large expeditions typically are noticed upon entry and are dealt with immediately. Any large expeditions that have gone down very rarely, if ever, come back with all their members. Or come back at all. Now, I am understanding that you have two that you are going to rescue, or attempt to rescue. One is a young boy, and one is an individual of non-determinable gender. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
The young boy most likely will be a stripling and will probably be beyond saving, but you certainly can try.
Lucinda gets kind of irritated at that.
Striplings are children who are turned into specters. The problem with striplings is they believe the voice. They, as children, have a hard time distinguishing reality from fiction.
Mm-hmm.
They think that oftentimes that voice is their imaginary friend inside their head. They also have no adults, no parental figures unless they lost them at the same time, that come here as well. So they have no one to guide them. So they end up in the labyrinth, and they are incredibly dangerous. They run in large groups. They run in packs. So imagine hordes of malicious, vindictive, small spirits.
Great.
How old was this young boy?
9? Is that right?
Yes.
I think 9, yeah.
There may be hope for him, but I wouldn't hold out much. If you find striplings, know that that's where. If you find a stripling, know that's where he is likely to be. It's in a den with them. It will be difficult to get him out of there because they will not. They work as a group. They will not leave him alone. This other person may yet still be down there and could potentially come out, but this was not a, from what I understand, the intelligence I was given, this was not a harrowing. He was dragged down with another specter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It is likely he is near Oblivion and may very well already been dragged into Oblivion. I tell you these things because this is the reality that you face when you go down there. And you need to understand the odds are not in your favor.
Okay.
Is this a mission you still wish to pursue?
Wish has nothing to do with it.
If it is not in your heart and soul to rescue these two people in any way, shape, or form, then you should not go down there.
You can do it. What is this bitch talking about? Of course they're down there. You're going to be able to get them out. You've got to go down there and save them.
Of course I'm going down there. She'll say that out loud.
Very well. The rest of you?
Vicenta nods, yes.
They all do as well. The professor seems a little hesitant, but...
Why is he going again?
He said it was a last request.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know of who, but...
I assume Dante, but I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. My dumbass.
It's okay.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
What experience and abilities do you all have? Are you joined to any guilds, or are you joined to any organizations that could have provided information that would be helpful to you while you're down there? Have you learned anything in your time as a Wraith?
No. I don't
Do not
think
lie.
She's asking what your Arconi is.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I have things that will let me see. I would like to meditate before I go down there, and I can sense my fetters, which is also not helpful, and I can reach into the other world, which is also not helpful.
Correct.
But I do have a sword.
That's something. You also have these. And she goes to a cabinet and she pulls a folding table out and she puts it down and starts to pull things out of the cabinet. She pulls a miner's helmet with a gas lantern attached to it. She pulls the bag of stakes. And she pulls a rope, several sets of rope out. Says these are tools that you will use. Light. This will be your only source of light down there. If you see light, hopefully it will be coming from above, from the Venus stair. Or it is a trick. Those are the two options.
Okay.
Or specters who have their own lights and are hunting for you. Are you all significantly terrified at this point?
Yeah.
That's good. Do not lose that feeling for even a moment. The fear will keep you alive. Now, what about the rest of you?
Is she asking about our Arconi? Is she asking about what we if we're
Arconi.
Vicenta basically tells her in non-game terms that she has embody and pandemonium. And then as she says that, her eyes kind of almost look like they crystallize
Okay.
for a second before it goes away.
Okay, what is that supposed to mean?
That's the Menosis
Oh, okay.
mark, but she hasn't connected
Oh, okay.
that she has that yet.
Gotcha.
So it's almost as if something inside her is saying, and this.
Got you. Okay. So she notices that for sure. And she says, well, hold on to the things that are useful here, which isn't a lot from what I understand. And the professor speaks up and says, I'm a member of the Partners Guild. And I'm very learned in the abilities of that guild. I am a high-standing member in it.
The what guild?
Partners.
Pardoners?
Mm-hmm. She says
They deal with specters and stuff. And shadows.
Shadows
Sorry.
more than
Shadows
anything.
is what I meant.
That is excellent. If you manage to stay alive, you will be a very big asset to this group. Royce kind of speaks up and says, we can kind of tell, we have the ability to, Anna and I, to, we can grow wings, and we can make our way through we can kind of detect tempest fluctuations and stuff like that.
Huh.
The wings could be useful. And and they kind of do a weird sign to the professor, and he goes, oh, well, it seems I am amongst my compatriots. They're like, yeah, we can't talk about it too much up there.
What?
Well, why? They're members of the guild as well.
Oh.
Lucky for all of you.
Cassandra is beginning to feel very useless.
Jacinta has felt useless this entire time, so.
At least you got fangs.
Yeah.
We can
I
kind
have
of,
fangs and I got sharp claws.
and we can see things a little bit too. It's kind of helped us out too, Cassandra.
Okay.
That's why I believed you about the attacks.
Oh.
Well, these are all very good skills to have. But none of them will help you much down there. And you cannot rely on them. Because everything that you know, countless other specters know as well. Down there. Plus, they have darker things that you do not. That you still have enough of yourself that you wouldn't possibly try to do to another Wraith. They have no problems or qualms with that. So no, you are outgunned in that area. However, where you are not outgunned is the fact that you are all carrying weapons. And Oglethorpe goes, I'm not. Well, then I would stay close to the ones who are. We will still, however, train you, and we can send you with a trench knife, should you need it. But it will be required to be returned upon your arrival back. Now, let's begin. And so we cue our training montage. 2 days go by. And you've not left the facility. So there's no way you could have been attacked. It's almost like fate has shifted. Or the prophecy is shifted because people were made aware.
Oh.
Ah, indeed.
And training is tough. The first day you fight against dummies. The next day, a chain specter is brought out by a group of 4 people holding it at different points with a Stygian steel chain. She goes over what you can expect and goes into detail about how to combat them. And lets you know that this is one of the lesser, which name escapes me right now, my apologies. But they're more feral, but they're very dangerous because of that.
Like a stripling?
No.
Okay.
Striplings are
Little children,
and they're kind of smart, and it's creepy.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Don't you love it?
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Pretty babies.
So the training continues. You know, you're allowed to relax at the end of the night. But you all manage to hold together and work as one. And while Amaya is tough and belittles you and berates you and tells you, you know, when you mess up a little bit, that's going to be your death, you start to understand as the training continues that it's to keep you alive. And so, after a week of such training, the last day arrives. And she says, I've done all I can for you. I don't know if you'll make it out alive or not. But I do hereby induct you as members of the Order of Thorns. And she pins a badge to you that has a rose vine with silver thorns coming off of it. She says, remember your duty to bring back those that are able to be redeemed back with you, that we may deprive Oblivion of its hosts, and that we may serve those that we have lost to memory with honor. Doomslayers, I pronounce you. We're going to pause our recording for a moment as we take care of some mechanical stuff behind the backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so, new members of the Order of Thorns, having learned what you need to at least keep yourself alive, hopefully, to the entrance of the Venus Stair, I commission you to go forth and authorize you here as a member of the Order to proceed forth into the labyrinth as soon as you are ready. Before you do, there is one last thing to give you. Your arraignment. Please stand in line. She comes by you one by one, gives you all one of those minor lantern hats, and gives you all a bag of spikes, gives you all rope, and then to Royce and to Cassandra, she gives sets of shackles, leg and arm shackles. I hope you use these. I hope they serve you well, and that you bring them back with a specter in tow. Or maybe that you don't have to, and that you can reach them and bring them back with you on their own volition. You're the worst group of people I've ever trained. And I'm ashamed that I had such little material to work with. But by God, If you're determined enough, I think you'll make it back.
Thanks.
Royce is like, that's a way for them to compliment us.
Yeah, I said thanks.
He kind of nods. He's like, all right. We're commissioned. I'm squad leader. When are we ready to do this?
Now.
I guess now.
Right this moment?
I'd like to do foreshadow first, if I could. It takes 10 minutes, I think. I'll check.
Royce and Anna say, so you telling them you'd like to see what's coming?
Yeah.
They sit with you and they say, well, we'll do it too if you want.
Sure. Every little bit will help.
I hope we don't see our own deaths.
Hey, then at least we'll know. I'd hate to be surprised.
DM gonna send you something.
Okay.
I'll just do it on Messenger. Or is it easier to send it to you on Discord?
It does not matter.
I'll do it on Discord then. 'Cause
Okay.
I've got that pulled up right here.
Sorry, I keep forgetting about the shadow.
No, it's okay.
I see your question, and I am searching for the answer.
Okay.
And let me double check
Okay.
to see something very quickly while she is meditating
Okay.
for no reason.
What was the target?
6.
Ooh. 2 successes, but 2 ones. Is that a
So
botch?
that's not a botch.
Okay.
If you had
It's just
more
a fail.
ones, yeah, you failed.
Okay. I just failed.
So
I'm too nervous.
Yeah.
I'm too keyed up, and I'm actually kind of shook about about changing my fate, from the fight. So I think that is distracting me because usually so.
Royce is like, I got nothing. I'm too worried, too.
Great.
And Anna's like sitting there teary-eyed.
Oh shit. What did you see, Anna?
Nothing.
No, that's a lie.
It's my business. I don't want to tell you.
Okay.
I mean, no offense, Anna, but didn't we kind of go through all this for us, to...
Yeah, it's only about me. It doesn't affect any of you.
You're on our team. I think it does affect us.
Please, I'd rather not, okay?
I'm gonna tell Amaya and see what she thinks.
Sir, she looks at Royce. And he kind of... Are you holding anything back that could get any of us hurt? She just kind of gets a little more teary-eyed. No, I promise, sir, I promise. Okay, then. I'll allow it. I trust you, and I want the rest of you to do the same.
Okay.
Lucinda already doesn't trust her, so good luck. It's probably bad on Vicenta. Probably doesn't hire her at all.
You see, coming around the corner, the professor had stepped off for a moment, and you see him coming back with, okay, got your message.
Okay.
Coming back with pulling his pants up, and he's not in the familiar purple and orange.
Mm-hmm.
He's in what we would have called a World War I doughboy outfit.
Doughboy?
Mm-hmm. What the World War I soldiers wore.
I know what it is.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like it fits all that great, of course.
Aw.
But he's like, Sir, I'm ready. And I got a few more things for us. And he pulls out in the bag. He says, it cost me quite a bit, but I wanted to keep us safe. And it's a bag full of chain.
Wow.
I was like, this can hold them if we need to. And I think you can use it as a weapon too.
Oh, Vicenta goes and kind of pats him on the back, kind of gives him a little kiss on the cheek. That was sweet.
Just keep us all safe, right? Well, sir, I'm ready. And he kind of does a salute, and clicks his heels together. He goes. And Royce goes, at ease. Well, everybody ready to march down into hell?
Sure.
All right. And he ties a length of rope to himself. Just kind of keeps it in his hand. And you all start your walk towards the mall that the light shines on. And it waits for you. He throws the length of rope and he says, tie yourselves on. We all got us to keep watch after each other. I need to know marching order, though. Who wants to be behind me?
He has a sword too, right?
Yes, him and Anna both.
Okay. I feel like the people with weapons should be at the front and the back. People without weapons should maybe be in the middle.
I am agreeable to that, Oglethorpe says. All right,
but I don't want to be in the back.
Who wants to lead the rear guard?
Vicenta can. That's fine.
All right, Vicenta, you and Cassandra are both in the rear. Me and Anna are in the front.
Okay.
Professor, you're in the middle. All right, everybody secure?
Yep.
Let's go. You make your way to this mall, and you can almost hear it just sound like off in the distance, like it's roaring, waiting for you. And he's just, Royce goes, Jesus Christ in heaven, protect us.
Vicenta crosses herself.
Cassandra's just shaking her head. She.
What is Cassandra feeling right now?
She's like, that dude don't exist.
Oh, don't say that in front of Vicenta, God!
She's not gonna say that. That's how she feels. Like it's kind of like I don't know how you can even say that name and be here at the same time. Just the disconnect is crazy.
Gotcha.
Just like, how could that be possibly true?
Yeah. Vicenta, what are you feeling?
She feels almost a bit distracted. Like she's going into this and she wants to do this. She wants to get Lincoln back. And whoever this preacher person is, she's still very confused about who this is. But there's some stuff going on in her mind. She's not quite sure what's happening. It's almost as if something is almost like it's detaching, but it's almost overpowering at some points. And it's almost like an emotional detachment when it takes over, if that makes sense. When it comes over her, she's just very cold, very methodical, very, almost looking at things from an intellectual standpoint without, her normal emotional intelligence, if that makes sense. So,
As you approach, you notice that there are legionnaires stationed around the hole. Looks like they're made to keep watch. They see you all coming up. They look at Royce and they see the badge on his chest. And they have spears. And it's this point, Vicenta, you realize that they are wearing Roman legionnaire outfits. Cassandra, you notice this as well. They're dressed
Vicenta's
like
I get that reference.
And in fact, the garb they're wearing looks period correct and authentic.
Can she greet them in Latin?
Certainly could.
Okay. So she just says a generic greeting in Latin.
And they say salutant, and which is Latin for salute you. You know, we salute.
Mm-hmm.
And they raise their spears and they let you pass. And they say in the language of the dead, so that you all understand. Say, come on back soon. Give them hell.
That's nice.
And Royce takes the first step onto the stair. And begins his journey down. Soon Anna begins her step. Professor Oglethorpe lets out a sigh. For the greater good. And steps down. And Cassandra, it's your turn.
I just stepped down.
The steps feel cold, even through your shoes somehow. And you make your way, and you see that it is lit by soulfire in the walls that burns, and you can hear it moaning as you make your way down. Vicenta,
Mm-hmm.
you follow as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it winds down, 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 impossibly far down. And you find yourselves, after some considerable time, entering into the darkness of an impossibly large abyss. Royce says, lanterns on. And I'm assuming everyone lights up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Lanterns help a bit. But it's kind of like that scene in Lord of the Rings when they go into Moria.
Yeah.
And, Gandalf lights his staff and it's still just impossibly large area
Yeah.
you're standing in. Looming out before you is the labyrinth. And what we encounter down there, we'll discover next week. No, it's a short session. I felt it needed to be, to kind of give weight to what's about to transpire. Monica, you've been making kind of worried faces all night. What's Cassandra feeling? Are you feeling okay? Everything all right?
Cassandra feels like she's never going to be prepared enough. So she just feels like, let's just do it, get it over with, see what's down there. If it's bad, then at least then we'll know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just worried because the training was very bleak.
Yeah.
So, and now what Anna saw. So her first thought is that Royce dies. Well, my first thought is, I don't know if that was Cassandra's first thought. Probably, yeah. So, but she kept insisting it wasn't a big deal, and if she also sees shit, she should know that, I don't know, she should know better to share it with us. So she's pretty apprehensive about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, mostly she kind of just wants to get down there so it's not a boogeyman anymore. I mean, she's still
and
dreading
you are.
it.
You're in.
Yes, exactly.
But you're just toe in.
Mm-hmm.
What's Vicenta feeling as she looks at this gaping abyss before you?
She's completely unprepared, but at the same time, there's something eerily familiar about this.
Okay. Well, you both were previously awarded your XP in this session, and it was spent off the recording. We will be back for the first part of our conclusion to our story. Chapter 14. The Abyss Stares Back. Until we're back next week for that, we're wishing you all a very spooky night. Thank you all for listening.